What's going on today, guys? Primal Sabbath here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the best Beast Machines Cheetor, the Mega Class Cheetor, the first Cheetor that came out in the Beast Machines toy line. And I definitely did say that. The Universe Night Slash is great and all, it's just not quite show accurate. This one isn't necessarily either. If you're going for show accuracy, sadly but truly, the Supreme Cheetor is kind of the closest thing you're going to get. Hopefully, Takara will issue a Encore or Legends or something like that version, LGEX or whatever, of the Universe Night Slash mold, because I don't believe the Universe Night Slash made it over, or just even the regular Night Slash made it over to Japan. So it'd be a great way for them to take what's essentially the most show accurate sculpt and put the most show accurate deco on it, and then I could effectively get rid of this. Part of the Unicron.com accessories that I was talking about with Black Arachnia did come with a pair of swords. I may just do a entirely separate review just on that kit altogether at a later date. But for the meantime, we're just going to kind of focus on the vanilla figures. And this is Cheetor. And like I said, like as far as like between Night Slash, between Universe Night Slash, I think this is the most accurate you're going to get. And I think it gets a bad rap. This probably is the most famous Cheetor figure for getting a bad rap. He didn't have all this green on him in the show. I mean, he had some of it, but nothing too crazy. I feel like, you know, other than the chrome, the face is fairly accurate too, you know, as far as like the details on the face. I do like this flat black paint. You get some of the spots along the side, and you also get this stuff, you know, the nose, the little kind of like whisker freckles, and then the eyeshadow, you know, 2000s eyeshadow. Nice bright red maximal spark crystal there with kind of like a gold like bezeling like border thing around it, which again I think is pretty neat. He's got a gimmick, and it's not the best gimmick. It is, however, a gimmick that you can deactivate, and I haven't yet, just for the sake of the review, but after this review, essentially you can get it to where this piece will stay up like this shoulder, so that way they match, and it won't, you know, like essentially like you're just deactivating the gear. Like that's all you're doing. But in the meantime, we're just going to kind of live with it and make do. The only other real issue is that none of this like locks in for beast mode, but for the most part it stays up. Like if you kind of wiggle it around and shake it around, all this is going to start kind of coming undone. But like I said, if you are a beast mode displayer, it will display just fine. So there is that. His back legs are a little difficult to work with too, and these front claws can be, because he's got, you know, these kind of weird angled down, I guess dew claws or heel claws or whatever. He does have a means to get all spindly on you, because that was his design in the show, because he is a techno-organic cheetah, of course. It's Cheetor. But I do, again, I like these kind of big spot designs, very kind of like computer future-y, especially for the early 2000s. It was pretty cool. I did not appreciate this as much as a kid as I really should have, but as an adult, I kind of found some little tricks to, you know, like the issues that I had with him as a kid are the same that most people had as an adult, even that I had as an adult before I really kind of messed with the figure, and like I said, kind of gave it more of a proper shot. But, you know, now that I've done that, now that I've kind of seen ways of just like making the figure work better for a display, I'm totally happy with it. That said, let's go ahead and get him into his robot mode, because that's where most of those issues lie, and we will continue on from there. Alright, so while I've got him here momentarily standing, which that's the issue that a lot of people have with this toy, is that he just can't stand. And he may hold this pose for quite some time. He may not. But ultimately, the issue here, and I'm kind of hoping it'll topple over, because this isn't really how I finished transforming it. This is how the instructions say to transform it. And in my opinion, the instructions are wrong. And I believe this wouldn't be the first time that like Beast Machine's instructions weren't entirely the best or the most accurate. Because if there's something that I had noticed from the show, was that his toes are, at least in the show, like very skinny kind of toes, and they're supposed to be a, you know, like a robotic foot, and not really a a claw there. Now, like I said, he may stand like this fairly well. It's not the best stance. It's there you go. You start to kind of move him around, but like that's where the issue lies, is that these front feet, there's nothing stopping them up in here, which causes them to lean forward. And even if you kind of lean them back, you lean them back some more. I mean, you can see he's doing the matrix here, and then he can stand like that, which is just plain silly. But like I said, kind of taking into account what he looks like on the show, if you just turn these bad boys around, because now, because the way, you know, he's all chicken legged, right? And that's just a design from the show. You know, love it or hate it, that's on you. Personally, I dig it, but you know, it is what it is. I was hoping that kind of plugged in there, but it doesn't. That's fine. We'll just keep that folded up. But because these, what, you know, the instructions say are the heels, but what I view as the toes for sure, because they are essentially, I mean, they're solid, man. They're locked in. He actually becomes more back heavy, so you can kind of play with these legs a little bit more. Again, like these ball joints, like they're on weird angles here. Maybe, you know, you can go in there and shave away some of that plastic. You shouldn't have to, of course, but you know, a lot of these Beast Machines figures were kind of like rushed. You know, whether or not anyone will come out and say that they were is one thing, but in my opinion, they were totally rushed. But let's see. And of course, like this wobbly waist up here doesn't help him. But anyways, I'm trying to get him to stand. And there we go. No issues. Nice straight up and down profile. And, you know, you're not really going to have to, I mean, I kind of bumped him there, but for the most part, you're not really going to have to worry. I mean, like I said, you can kind of bend him back on these kind of back knees. If that's even, I wouldn't know what to call those, like on even an actual chicken. So, anyways, like I said, you can do that, and he is so much more stable. I get him to stand I mean, he's never taken a shelf dive with the feet done like this. And, you know, you get the heels back here, and even with the weight distribution on the back, it all lines up, and you can get him to do what he needs to do. Like I said, I wish, like, you can kind of see how the ball joint cut in here is a lot more forgiving for those inward movements. Like for those outward movements, it's just not. And I may go in there and trim some of that up, see what I can do with it. But for the sake of the review, without it being a, you know, modified piece or anything like that, like you can get it to stand. I'm not executing that very well, but you definitely can. I try to kind of get it looking somewhat presentable here, and that's where my issue lies, is because I keep trying too much. So let's move that out, bring that up, get that out the way. So there we go. And he will, like I said, all limb long day, he'll stand like this, no issues, no problems. Now, once I get the Unicron 9, the Unicron.com set, that is going to add a little bit more back heaviness to him, so I will kind of have to lean him forward a bit. Now, granted, with the swords, it may probably put some more weight on the front of him, but like I said, man, what the instructions say are the heels are super strong, and that's what his toes looked like in the cartoon anyways, so it really works out. Now, let's get to this gimmick and get through this. Some of these, I think, were molded or assembled at least, where there were two hands that had this little peg hole in them. But essentially, you would put this in his hand like a whip, and he could hold it with either peg, and you can kind of just do this. It's a little ridiculous. I'm not a fan of it. I don't think anybody's a fan of it, but I figured I would show that off, and that's the lamest part about this toy. But like I said, man, as far as overall accuracy, I feel like this one takes the cake over the Universe Night Slash. Just, you know, my opinion. Like I said, that opinion will change if Takara or even Hasbro decides to dust that mold off and you know, put a more show accurate deco on it. I've seen customs that look fantastic with a good show accurate deco, and the toy really does shine. As far as anything else concerning this guy, he's kind of the gold standard when it comes to chrome. And that's because like all this gold chrome on the back of his head, on the cheetah head, it all rubs heavily against something, and it stays for the most part in really good condition. Like I don't think I've ever seen a Beast Machines Cheetor with just wonky chrome. Also, he's got this little gimmick thing right here where you move his head side to side, the jaw opens. I think I talked about that in the snarl video. So if you want to get him in various talking poses, you can. I think it's a fairly accurate face sculpt to the show. It's not 100% accurate. Believe it or not, like I said, the Night Slash Cheetor really does have that more accurate sculpt, especially even in the face. So that is something to keep in mind as well. You know, if it's something you look into. But the face itself is not inaccurate at all. So, anyways, that's it for the Beast Machines Cheetor. This was the Mega Class. He's fairly cheap to get because a lot of people don't like him, but a lot of people don't like him because he can't stand. But he can stand, as you can see. It's, you know, it's one of those deals. Like I said, I don't think the figure was really given that much of a fair shake, and it definitely deserves it. It's a fun figure. I like it. I love Beast Machines Cheetor's design, and this totally works in the display. So if you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment box. I'll do what I can to answer them. If you like this guy and, you know, you're into Beast Machines, I hope you enjoy this stuff. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next review.